Hi guys, welcome to another video, part 2 of the relocation series. I think it's only gonna have 2 parts anyways, unless I have other questions, but yeah, welcome. I've decided to record in the car. I'm coming back from work and I thought, if I go home and I meet my son and I meet house chores, I'll not get the time to record the video. So I thought, might as well record it now before I get home. I'm nearly home anyways, just like 15 minutes away, but let me just record the video now. Hence the change of scenery. But anyways, where did we end? Yeah. We ended with drama. But let me just try and give a little bit of context. I mentioned that obviously applied for the job, got an interview. So when I got the interview date, it was video call interview type of thing. I was scheduled to go on a flight on the day they wanted to interview me. So I requested to be interviewed at a later date because obviously I had a flight and wouldn't have signal and all that. So they agreed and scheduled me for a later date. So now what I heard happened, that was after I got the job and everything. What I heard was that one of the directors was supposed to interview me on that first date that they had given me. And now because he was not available for the second date they gave me, I was now interviewed by the other director, but he was not supposed to interview me. That alone just made me think, no man, this is just God. Anyways, so when the guy was interviewing me, or the man, let me be very polite, very, very respectful. When the man was interviewing me, he obviously asked the questions that he needed to ask. And one of the questions was about family. I think mainly because, you have to relocate, so they want to know your circumstances. So I told him, yeah, I recently got married and I am pregnant. And I was even, because I know my husband and I, we decided that we're not going to shy away from the pregnancy, or maybe because I want to get the job. No, they need to know from the onset. That was the agreement, and that was what we went with. We stuck with that because we agreed that if this is God, he's coming through for us no matter what. Okay, sharp. I told him about the pregnancy and he was like, oh yeah, I don't even remember if he said congratulations, but I remember that he jotted something down, like he was doing with all the other answers and questions. And then fast forward, I got the job. It didn't even take long. I think they responded the next week, gave me the offer letter and all that. And when I got here now, I then sent them an email. Papa. But ask Papa, because yo guys, this video keeps glitching and glitching and glitching. I think this story is not supposed to be told. But anyways, I'm gonna try and fast forward because I've been here and it just keeps glitching. Yep. So now I'm back in the car. Where was I? So I was talking about I think I was talking about how I sent them an email and I sent them an email, yeah. And then I flew to the UK, and obviously the previous video I mentioned I landed in Manchester, and then I stayed with family. So I then sent them another email. I sent them another email to tell them that I'm now in the UK. When would you like me to start? When should I come over to the office for us to meet? And so where I was staying with family was like 3 hours away, or 3.5 hours away from where I'm supposed to be working. So they then gave me a date and I went to meet them. And when I met them, the first people that I met that obviously work in the office, they didn't say much about the pregnancy. They're just like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, oh, nice and everything. But you could hear that there's a bzz on the side, Anyways, they then left for a bit, and I was then shown the apartment where I was supposed to stay for the first month, I think, and then I would move out after I find my own place. So we went there, and when we got there, that's when I now discovered that the email that I sent them the first time, they were not happy with it. Apparently, I was rude. And I tried to be as professional and polite and humble as possible. But anyways, they said the email was rude. I was supposed to tell them when I'm going to apply, when I've applied, when I get a response from for my visa, and then they would tell me when to book the flight so that they are ready for me to come. But whatever happened, happened, and now I'm here. So the lady was now talking about how this email was rude. And by the way, you didn't tell us that you were pregnant. I said, hold up, hold up. Well, I obviously didn't say hold up, but I was like, I mentioned it in my interview that I was pregnant. But anyways, whatever they discussed, I was not there. We went back to the office after they showed me the apartment. The apartment wasn't even ready. They were still putting together the bed and everything, but sharp. Then we went back. We sat in the office for hours and hours, and then the director B and the person, yeah. Well, before we got into the office, and then I went back, and then I met director A, because initially I met director B with the other people that work in the office. So I met director A, and he was like, "You're pregnant," and I was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Who's gonna take care of your baby? Where's your husband?" Da da da. And I said, "No, my husband is coming. He's going to take care of my baby. I'm more than capable and am able to carry out my duties." Because I'm thinking, like, in South Africa, you work until your waters break. You're vulnerable. You can't. It's not gonna happen. He literally just said straight up, it can't. So after their meeting, director B and the other ladies come, and and then director B asks my family, "Okay, can you accommodate her for time being, because obviously she's not able to work. She's a vulnerable individual, and all the service users we have challenging behavior, which is very dangerous." That's what they said. And then I stayed with family for the first 6 months, because I ended up giving birth C-section, emergency C-section. I had no complications during my pregnancy whatsoever. I was 7 centimeters dilated. But how I ended up giving birth C-section, hey guys, another story. So yeah, I ended up working for them, and the treatment I received when I went back there, they were like, "Oh, let's turn the page. We're starting on a clean page, forgetting about what happened because it was so dramatic when you started, but we're forgetting about that, putting it behind us, and we're starting on a clean page." I was like, "Yay, continue, right? Yay." I don't want to say what happened because this is obviously on public domain, but it was hectic. So this is the following day. I didn't get to finish the video yesterday, so I'm just gonna finish it off today and then hopefully get to post it today. Okay, so I think I was now at the part about how I gave birth C-section, and then I was like, "Oh, talk about the story another time." I started to work for them. I ran my race, and I finished the race for 3 good years. The first year was hectic and it was difficult, but at some point I realized that, okay, I need more of God than I did when I was back in South Africa, because of what's happening in the spiritual realm in this location that I'm in. So once my mind shifted from just going with the flow to focusing on my relationship with God and making God at the center of everything, inviting Him in everything that I do when I go to work, praying over myself, praying over my family, things began to get better. And I also obviously began to understand how things work around here, keeping my ears on the ground. And that really helped. And I'm grateful for the journey that I went through, the 3 years with this previous company that I was working for. I'm really, really grateful, because although it was difficult, but I know I've learned a lot and I've become a better person from those experiences. I met really lovely people, made really good relationships, some of which are still ongoing. And yeah, that was the journey. My first UK employment experience. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section. I might have left out some details. Obviously, we'll want to make this video too long, but I'm more than happy to answer questions that I can answer, and the questions that I can't answer, probably just gonna leave them out. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a good night.